the Randall Education Center, they would like to have a visitor and greeting station desk. They want to extend the laminating floor throughout the lobby, the steps, and the entryway, so that's out front. And they would like to have a visitor and greeting station, a desk or a counter. The fellowship hall, they would like to add a console or a metal or wood bookcase next to the kitchen serving window. The total expense for all of this would be $4,000. The members of the IDM are Lady Donna White, Harry and Diane Rice, Reverend Terry and Rochelle Gibson, Brother and Sister Lawrence Mason, Sister Carolyn Mack, Sister Barbara Sims, Brother Luther Northington, and Brother Johnny Valentine. We extend special thanks to those members of our church family who donated their time, talents, and treasures to help achieve the beautification efforts of Mount Olive that you currently see. To God be the glory for the things He has done. Prayerfully submitted, Donna White.
Amen.
No questions? No answers. Next, Vanessa, you have anything from the nursery?
Yeah. I'm standing in the stead of Sister Chelsea Gray, who could not be with us today. Nursery Ministry Report for 2020, Mount Olive Missionary Baptist Church, Sister Chelsea Gray, Director, Dr. Derek E. White, Pastor, Teacher. Ministry Vision, to provide a safe, secure, and clean environment where parents are comfortable leading their children while they worship God. Teachers will be rocking babies, playing with the crawlers, chasing after the toddlers, and sharing God's love. The nursery will be at the beginning of a strong foundation of faith in Jesus Christ and a time when seeds of faith can be planted and nurtured. Ministry goals to provide a safe and secure environment for parents and visitors of the church to drop off their children, provide a sanitary environment where the parents are not afraid to drop their children off because they may get sick, to provide an age-appropriate curriculum for the classrooms to introduce God's love, the storytelling setting, and the basic fundamentals of the Christian faith. Prayer support for the volunteers and their families and the children and their families. Another goal is to have a closer fellowship with the monthly volunteers, to improve communication with the parents of the children, including the visitors, to keep our nursery as up to date as possible, and to train and set up an organized system for junior helpers, including junior high and high school helpers. 2020 summary. In 2020, we prayed over the nursery vision, consulted with the pastor, began nursery upgrade. We established policies and procedures for the nursery, built foundation for lesson plans, trained current staff, and opened the nursery in 2020. In 2021, we plan to recruit and train nursery staff, build a budget for the nursery, purchase a Wi-Fi extender for the TV, increase awareness of the nursery, and research outside playground metrics and opportunities. The Children's Church Ministry, we are aspiring to possibly incorporate a children's church ministry for youth that are too mature for the nursery. This is well down the road, but proves to be very beneficial for our youth. Thank you, and to God be all the glory. Respectfully submitted, Sister Chelsea Gray, Nursery Director. Any questions?
Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Do you have the pastors?
I do. Ooh, this is it, y'all. Okay. Pastor Support Ministry 2020 report. Mount Olive Missionary Baptist Church, Dr. Derek E. White, Pastor Teacher. Every pastor support ministry member is responsible for understanding that the ultimate goal is to be a blessing to the blessing that God has given us. At a glance, 2020 for the pastor's support ministry. The pastor's anniversary, of course, was canceled due to the pandemic. We were able to accomplish pastor's birthday blessing. to give a Pastor's Appreciation Month in October. We were able to accomplish that, and that really was wonderful. We were able to give a Thanksgiving blessing and a Christmas blessing to our pastor. For 2021 highlights, we look to have a pastor's anniversary celebration. This will be at the discretion and guidance of our pastor and God. And of course, we look to have a pastor's birthday fish fry this year. And we look to have a pastor's appreciation month again in October this year. There was a really nice picture on this. It's a family picture. And it says, we appreciate you, Pastor. We just wanted to take that time to pause and say, thank you for all that you do for us.
Amen.
We certainly appreciate you. We know that you were sent to us by God.
Amen.
And we appreciate you, and we're here to support you in anything that you need for us to do.
Amen.
To God be all the glory. Respectfully submitted, Sister Vanessa Mason. Any
Amen.
questions?
I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
It's something that hit me the other day. We don't have a picture of our pastor down in the fellowship hall. A nice family picture of them would be great down there.
Absolutely. We will certainly consult with Pastor, and at his direction, we will move forward. Okay? Okay. Bless you.
Take all the guests from down there.
Trustees? You not done touching this? Oh, that's right. Well, the finance report and all your reports you gotta do.
Yes.
Good morning, Mount Holly. I'm going to give you all the totals that we have accumulated in our building fund, our general fund, and our church fund, and then what the balance of those are. And for our 2020 in general fund, we had we took in $221,121.19. Our balance is $46,372.62. Is remaining balance as far as bills being paid out and all that. That's what we took in at the end of the year of 2020. And then where our building fund is, we took in $6,218. Our balance in our building fund is $9,242.82. That's what we collected for that. And then for our church school, of course, with the pandemic on and off, we took in $3,190.94. Our balance is $4,575.16. And then, of course, we did appreciation for the pastor for the October appreciation month. And the gift. And that's all I have as far as all the reports for the findings, if anyone has any questions. Thank you. Thank you.
We were a little down this year, partly due to the pandemic. I know the first part of it, we were in really good shape as far as people weren't able to make it, either mail or drop off the Lord's tithes and offering or send it through Givelify. And then as the year kind of kept going and the pandemic extended, I think some people heard me say this in a humorous way, but I'm serious because it's coming. Some people thought they were getting what's called a tithing holiday. If you don't come to church, then you know the Lord's tithing, but He's been taking care of you. Now we do have some members that were affected, the work they do. Certain, there's very few in number. And then a lot of people are on fixed income. We're all on fixed income, but certain amounts that in some cases kind of dropped off. So you're not in trouble with me, you're in trouble with the Lord when you don't bring the Lord's tithes and offering. And I'm not trying to get rich, and it doesn't come to me, I don't count it. I don't even have a key to the counting room by choice. That way nobody can say I'm breaking in there. When it's in there, it's locked. The only one I know try to get in there is Reggie, but I'm just playing. I'm just joking. We all take that serious. But I don't have a key by choice, and I get reports of what comes in every week.
Yeah.
And it's been fluctuated, but the good thing, I think, we had a good carryover from last year because we didn't have a lot of expenses due to the pandemic. So that kind of balanced itself out. But we just want to encourage you to remember that there's a responsibility as believers that we are to bring the Lord's tithes and offering. I don't want to hear anything about I can't afford it. You really can't afford not to. The reason you get in trouble sometimes is because you're robbing the Lord. I'd much rather be in trouble with man than the Lord. Because the Lord can deal with man. We just saw that happen the other week. When you think about former President Trump, the only thing that keeps coming to my mind is pride goes before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall. That's one thing that keeps coming to my mind with him. And so don't rob him. Pray about how the Lord wants you to distribute his resources as it relates to tithes and offering, building fund, and pastoral support. You have to pray about that, how the Lord wants you to do that. But he never left out the preacher. I'm just tired and they can do what they want to do. He never left out the preacher. And the preacher lives based on the faith you have in God and what he instructs you to do. That's just how it goes. Technically, there's no such thing as salary in the Bible. Technically. And so it's as you, Paul talks about it in 1 Corinthians 9. Is it too much to ask? So when I'm not here begging, I'm just letting you know what's right. and the larger picture is the tithes and offerings. Like I said, we was a little bit down, but that's okay. This is the first year for that. That pandemic has a lot to do with it for a lot of people. And we want to make sure that we are, and if you had a decrease in income, then that might be why. But as far as I know, nobody's really, other than a handful of people, lost wages. There's some people that got stimulus money, unemployment, that was over and above, way over and above. So just be careful. And like I said, we'll be talking about it. I know it won't be a shouting sermon. That's why I'm practicing in the mirror when I do it. So I'll be used to the silence. It's coming. It's my turn in a little bit. I haven't talked with a couple of choices. I'm not sure if Dr. Bell he had that stroke, something went on back in San Diego a couple years ago, and had a big spot on his brain. And I don't know if he travels alone anymore. He'd probably bring his wife if we can get him, but I'm not sure when he's available. He and I have been talking about something else. He's got a devotional that he does. And I've been trying to get some more for some family members. And we've been kind of talking about that. And those of you that may get one, just an FYI, he wrote it after he had all this stuff happen with him. He just got through preaching in San Diego and dropped. And they found he was in California about 3 months. And had to take a tumor and stuff off his brain. So when you see the writing, he left it there on purpose to remind himself of the condition he was in. So some tenses, when you get it, don't like, what is that? It's a past tense, I'll be present, those kind of things. He left it there on purpose. But he, as you know, has been here before. He's a friend of mine. And when he, Dr. Banks had talked to him about Pastor Randall going on pastoral support. So when Pastor Randall finally got a chance to meet him in Los Angeles, Dr. Bell said, "Nice to meet you, sir. Nice to meet you." Pastor Randall looked at me like, "Who is this Negro?" That's Dr. Bell, man. He been waiting to meet you. He bowed at me. "Well, I ain't Jesus." So he's one choice, and then of course Banks, a couple others, to do stewardship for us. And then the anniversary, church anniversary, is going to be the second Sunday of October, which is October 10th. And that'll be our 104th anniversary. Pastor's anniversary right now will be the third Sunday of May, if we have it. And that's, again, we don't know. May bring in a guest possibly, but not sure yet. But that's the tentative date. Christmas program is December 19th, which is the third Sunday of December. Okay, good. So Christmas decorations will be the weekend after Thanksgiving. Okay.
Pat,
Yes.
would you go over those dates again, please?
Okay. The church anniversary, second Sunday of October, October 10th of 2021.
Okay.
Pastor's anniversary, tentative May 16th, 2021. Christmas program, December 19th, 2021. And then there's some discussion of other events. The association, General Baptist Association, we had a little discussion yesterday with about 10 pastors or so. We need to get a president, moderator. They've asked me, well, my name is in the hat. And I've told Love and everybody else I still need to talk to Tolbert, which is our national president.
Yeah.
And so we may or may not do it. If we do it, it's going to be different because of the meeting situation, especially early on, because the annual session normally happens in April. And obviously, I don't think it's going to be right now. It maybe Zoom or something, but it's not going to be like our regular time. If that's the case, then we'll be looking for those. I don't want you to feel pressure. I'm going to probably send out something for people who want to volunteer for various offices that are available to do that. I don't want you to feel pressured at all. I don't want you to feel like, you know what, I'm doing this because Pastor, I don't do that. If you're not comfortable, I understand. If it's too much, that's okay. There's only one person I'm pressuring. She already know who it is. But the rest of you, I'm just joking, Miss B. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Sister B, but I'm messing with you. I'm just joking. Don't feel pressure. And so we'll, after I talk with Dr. Tolbert, we'll go from there. I'll just have some questions of our own because it's not going to be like it used to be. All of us want it to be like it was. It's not going to be like that. You don't have the people. You don't have the interests. You don't have a number of churches. So things have to be approached from another standpoint and maybe scale down, if you will. One thing we had to do during the pandemic, we got a call from the bank, and we needed to update our bylaws and constitution, which we did. The one that they had didn't tie into the bank records. The bank records said Mount Olive Baptist Church. Our bylaw said Mount Olive Missionary Baptist Church. We had to change that. And there were several other things that the state required in the county that we had to do. So we did that. And our bylaws call for at least 10% of the voting membership to be present. And normally at these meetings we might have 35 or 40 or 50 people. So we had 8 altogether in a series of meetings that met the 10% requirement. So we did. We got the bylaws changed. We have them certified. First, the bank told us we have to send them to the state. So we sent them to the state. They said, we don't need these. So we said, the state don't need them too. Then there was the county. So we sent them to the county. And the county has certified everything, has everything recorded. And then I'm kind of segueing into something that we're going to change it back to Mount Olive Missionary Baptist Church once we get through with the sale of the property. Now, you want to come, Terry, and talk a little bit about where we're at with that on the parsonage?
Okay, the terms of the sale on the parsonage at 520 Kensington, it was $196,000. Okay, so that's what we're selling it for. Okay, buyer will receive $3,000 toward buyer's closing costs and $3,000 for the installation of a new furnace. The furnace is functionable, but it did not pass inspection. So at closing, we will be buying the furnace. So the initial closing should have been maybe in January. It was delayed due to some unforeseen circumstances with the buyers. The buyers were approved for their loan and cleared to close. The appraisal issues arose on their current home, and that's why we didn't close in January. So what they done, the buyers requested a prepossession, which is like renting, and they agreed to pay $1,000 a month plus all the utilities until the closing. So at least we're getting money on it. So they were relocating from Ohio, and they are here. So at least we know that, it should move forward. So we've gotten two $100,000 payment, $1,000. So basically, we've almost paid for the furnace. They've paid for it because we've gotten two $1,000 checks. So the furnace was $3,000, so they really paid for the furnace. So we don't really have to bless our cash for that. So the closing of the property is anticipated to be February the 10th. Now that's tentative because it was supposed to be in January and it hasn't happened. So hopefully and prayerfully by the 10th, we'll be free from the parsonage. Any questions?
Well, that means if they paid February's rent, if it ain't done in February, they paid for the furnace completely.
There you go. There you go.
And the other thing too, that gives us a chance to, Parsons is paid and sold, and then the remaining proceeds we were able to pay the wing off. So we made that free.
What is the matter with the appraisal?
What was
The appraisal of the buyer's home.
Oh,
Their
back.
home, no, not ours.
Ours is okay.
Okay,
The people that are buying from us,
okay,
the appraisal of their property was
okay.
the problem.
Now, let me say this too. Just because we're debt free, don't mean to stop tithing.
Amen.
I'm serious. We still have staff here. That's something else I need to talk about. I brought it last year, and MMBB has made some changes and adjustments, and we're trying to get Reggie and Vanessa a part of that retirement program, which is minimal. Matter of fact, what we were paying for Pastor Randall's retirement, both mine and theirs, is less than that. So everybody don't need even, the employees that work here ought to be able to have something. And then the other thing we need to buy is a shuttle bus type with a wheelchair accessibility on it. So we probably won't need that until maybe late spring or summer when we can start going around and do things. So I don't have to worry about it right now, but we're saving $1,500 on the wing and about $800 something on the parcel. That's $2,300 a month that we'll be having versus going into the interest and everything else. So we'll be debt free, but that don't mean, well, they're debt free now, I don't need it. No. And the other thing, don't think, well, I need my cable bill, I ain't paid it, they give it cut off and it's $500. That's your problem. We don't do cable bills. Some people talk about some cable, and it's like, wow, what kind of money you get? So we're still gonna do things for benevolence and all that, but just, it don't mean stop giving. Yes, I'm sorry, yes, ma'am.
You said that there was 196 for the.
Was it 196?
That's what we're selling it for, is $196,000.
That wasn't accepted.
Yes.
Okay, so the net proceeds from the sale, because there are all kinds of fees, what will you net?
Well, I'm not sure then.
We got prepayment penalty on the parsonage, which is gonna be 10, 12, easy, probably. The prepayment penalty on the wing is only $500 flat.
No, I'm saying, what money after the sale would you
So-
make, because there are fees from
Yeah.
the,
Right.
realtor and all that.
roughly, and I'm just projecting, and we really don't know what the final fees are. We got the realtor's fees. That's 8%, I think, 7%. 8, okay. So that's looking at 14,000 and some change. Prepayment penalty is probably, I'm saying 12 to be safe, that's 26. And then whatever other fees and costs. So we probably,
2%.
what's that now?
I want 2%.
Oh, well, you know what? I wouldn't have a problem with it. But I'd say when it's all said and done, and this is just projection, maybe 10 to 12,000 left after we pay everything.
Okay.
So we have about 12,000 that will go into the general fund, and that's not in stone.
Right.
Which means I wouldn't have a problem giving her. She's really worked. Her and Phil has really worked on this. They really have, and met with the realtor, and I don't know if you had a chance to see the pictures of the parcels online, but it's on Realtor.com. Just put in 520 Kensington, Realtor.com. That place is off the hook. She staged it, and they jumped on just like that. And the house across the street is a little bit bigger. It's actually on sale for $220 maybe, but it's a lot bigger, brick, and so $199. I was shocked because Zillow only had it at $171. And so we're not doing, we start off at 2, so $199 is not bad. And then we had to counter offer back and forth, and they came back with something ridiculous, $175. I said, no, we're not giving it away. And so, and then Sister Tiff said, well, what's the lowest? I said, the lowest is 186 or 185. So we got a little bit more than our lowest, what we wanted. But when it's all said and done, probably, and I'm just saying, 10 or 12, that'll go in the general fund, and again, we're debt free. We're going to have a mortgage burning of the Randall Education Center. We talked to Pastor Randall about him being a part of that, since the building was named after him, or the wing, and have him be a part of our ceremony. So that's the plan.
Amen.
That's another question.
Yes.
So we're waiting on for their appraisal of their project?
Or whatever they've got. Our closing is on the 10th, so whatever they've got to do between now and the 10th, doesn't matter because we're going to close on the 10th.
The hold up all the
Hold
time
up
is
was good.
their problem.
But-
Right,
Yeah.
but if then they don't figure out their problem, so then can they get out of buying the home?
No.
The loan was approved already, though.
No, they've already signed, so they're not going to not buy it. They've got to sell, get their stuff taken care of, so. But that's a good question, but because it's possible, I mean, anything's possible.
Right, but my thing is, if they can't sell their home, then are we going to, they will have to leave?
Oh,
They're
yes.
going to keep on?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
not
yeah, they have to
interested.
go.
Yeah, I'm not interested in doing any rentals, especially with the pandemic, because first thing gonna say COVID, rent moratorium, and here we go. You know, they'll be in there free. We don't want to do that. We had a nightmare with the other renter in there, and so we don't want to do that. And if at all possible.
And speaking that, she gave me this date last night.
Mhm.
I'm assuming that everything is taken care of, or they wouldn't have been able to set a date.
And once it's done, then we're gonna do one more modification of the bylaws and make the bylaws Mount Olive Missionary Baptist versus Mount Olive Baptist, because that's what we are. And one of my questions to her when this all came up, I'm like, we've been paying you off since 2000, ain't been nobody been cashing them checks at Mount, Missionary Baptist. So they've been going through, ain't nothing bouncing, so she kind of laughed, whatever. So we'll change that back to Mount Olive Missionary, that'll be the only change. Everything else is in it is good. Now, real quickly, a couple of things I brought up last year on Reggie and Vanessa on the MMBV retirement program. What it does, the first year, it's a grant from Lilly that's been given, it's been around 100 and some years, this program has, and I went to it. I had forgot to talk to Pastor Lacey at our convention. And I saw Dr. Tolbert in Kansas City and inquired. I said, well, I really want to be part of it, but I didn't get my paperwork from Lacey, so are you going to have this next year? He said, what's your name? And I told him my name, and he wanted to know what my interest was. Well, I want to know more about it. I want to be a part of it. I'm kind of fairly new in the pastorate. And he said, well, you don't have to wait. And I said, what do you mean? He said, give me your phone number. So I gave my number, and he said, they'll be in touch. I didn't get 50 steps away, and my phone rang. I got a call from New York, the main office in New York, and they signed me up right then. And Pastor Potter had a chance to go, and Brian. They paid for mine and Donna's airfare, hotel, food, transportation to and from the hotel. If you get a rental car, they'll reimburse you for your rental car. It's in Orlando, around the corner from where they had the NBA bubble at, in a real nice hotel, real nice hotel. You gotta walk a mile and get from your room to the, to where the sessions are. It's huge. But anyway, they paid for all that. First year was in Nashville, second year was in Orlando. That's their home base now. And then Pastor Potter went the first year, but they won the second year because they won a first year. Pastor Potter and Sister Potter. They paid for both of them. And but they want a member of your church to be there to hear how the program works. Then the second year, third year, Brian went. And I won't even say he didn't have no girlfriend with him, but there was somebody. Anyway, I ain't even gonna go into it. I ain't even gonna go into it. When Brian left, one of the ladies, and she's single. Where's your friend? I said, my friend is an airplane. I said, no, she didn't. She don't. But anyway, so they pay for all that. And all you do is go. So what happens, the first year, they take your annual amount, like in my case, pastoral support and the utilities and car allowance and all that, and have a figure. And then they take 10% of that on a monthly basis to come up with, well, 10% of your annual revenue and divided by a monthly basis, determine what your monthly contribution will be. The first year they pay 50% of that, the church pays 50%. Second year they pay 40%, the church pays 60%. Third year they pay 25%, the church pays 75%. Then the fourth year, the church pays it all. I just came out of my fourth year, did a final interview with them about 3 weeks ago. And we've been trying to do Reggie and Vanessa as church employees. So that's the next phase. So it's very minimal, but they'll have the same opportunity. Then if you want to do supplemental, which add some of your own, you can actually put some of your own with it as well. And there'll be life insurance, and so whatever it comes to, just say for instance, let's say for instance your annual amount from church is $20,000. Okay, that would double for your beneficiary for life insurance. Plus, your beneficiary will get an annuity, so much of an annuity, in addition to life insurance. So it's a really good program, and they're opening it up to